Oh, we're live. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Welcome to the. Excuse me. Sorry, got to get my reins together. Here we go. Lions post game show. We're here. Lions. What? They got 7. I think the Bucs had more than that. Somewhere more than I don't know. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. Lions lose 47-7 in a game. Let's put these aside for a second. Lions lose 47-7. I can't remember a game in which the Lions looked less competitive. I can't remember. I mean, even that 2008 season, they didn't really have games like this. And the Lions had everything stacked against them in their defense, I guess. Not that we should give the Lions any defense since they don't have any themselves. But yeah, no coaches. Yeah, I would say their two of their 3 best defensive players did not play in this game, Jamie Collins and Jaron Kearse. And Matthew Stafford gets injured on the second play of the game. Yeah, it was bad, guys, and I don't have anything good to say today. Mike, say something.
I've slipped into the 7th circle of hell, personally. We're allowed to curse on this thing, right?
Oh, go away.
What the fuck just happened, man? What the fuck just happened? Seriously.
How named your article?
Why? I should. Dude, I was in there. We need a fucking exorcism or something to solve what just happened to this team. Because it's as bad as it could possibly be. I don't want to hear about 0-16. That was the most embarrassing loss in Detroit Lions history. Seriously, think of one that could top that.
Maybe the one in London. I don't know. It's up there. It's up there, no doubt. The only reason I wouldn't put it as that embarrassing is because we've already reached the point in the season where we know who this team is. We should have been desensitized to how bad this defense is by now. But something about, Blaine Gabbert going down there in the first drive of the second quarter, his first pass being a 20-yard touchdown, is just even 2.5 years of Matt Patricia shitting on this defense did not prepare me for that moment.
You can't help but maniacally laugh at that point too, because it was just what else could go wrong? Hey, Blaine Gabbert's in finally some relief. His first fucking pass in 3 years, he throws a 20-yard touchdown. Yeah. Gronk, who hasn't done anything all year. Gronk looked like Gronk. It took the Lions to make Gronk to look like Gronk again.
Yeah, I mean, that secondary is such a god-awful mess, and you saw it with Brady. I mean, the Lions haven't played a quarterback in 5 weeks, and I think this was a stark reminder that's what happens when a quarterback actually plays against this team. I guess Rodgers was only a few weeks ago, but it feels like a while since we've played a legitimate quarterback. That's not even fair to Ryan Tannehill. He's been playing well. Either way, this Lions defense is so absolute garbage that it's. I mean, where do you even start if you're the next GM? Is there a wrong answer? There's probably no wrong answers. Maybe that's why this GM job might be attractive, is because you literally can't screw up the draft. Because every single person you pick on the defensive side of the ball is going to be an upgrade.
You can't get any worse. I mean, I tried to figure out who I would want to keep if I were the GM of this team. If I'm coming in, who do I want to keep? Seriously, who do you want to keep? Jeremy, if you needed to pick 2 guys, who do you want to keep?
Well, here's the sad thing is one of them is Romeo Okwara, and he's not signed, and he's probably going to be due. He's probably going to cross over double-digit sacks.
God, man.
Which means you have to pay him, and the Lions don't have a ton of cap space next year. So it's just
I know people want to believe that because his brother's here, he's going to want to stay. But, dude, he's going to get paid by somebody who's way better than the Lions. That dude's gone, and his brother's going to be totally understanding about that.
Yeah. I mean, if he's looking out for his own, he could probably get more money elsewhere. I don't think he's going to get huge money. 9-10 sacks is a good season, and he's having a good season. He's not having an elite season. He's not an elite pass rusher. He's just a good guy that would be a decent starter. I would maybe even average starter if I'm being completely honest, just because not that an average player can pick up 9-10 sacks a season, but I don't know.
You got to factor in those punt blocks too, man.
Maybe he'll go wherever Coombs goes.
Oh God. Speaking of Coombs, this team that just lost 47-7 fired somebody earlier this week for cultural reasons.
Well, I mean, it's more than culture. The dude called a rogue fake punt. Like that'll get you fired in most places.
They should just do everything rogue. Everyone should go rogue. Just everyone go rogue for week 17. Go Titus Young. Go full Titus Young on this thing.
I mean, what?
Line up wherever you want.
How could it look any worse than it did today? I mean, there are going to be so many. Like, I'm not interested in looking up all the records that I think the Bucs had the most yards they've had in career history. And I think that's the most yards that the Lions had given up in their franchise history. That might have gone in reverse with that strip sack late in the game from Okwara. But in general, like, obviously this is a disaster of a team right now. We were all given that stark reminder of what the offense looks like without Matthew Stafford, which is a fun little reminder to have. You have to imagine his season is probably done. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that because he's Matthew freaking Stafford and he'll claw and scratch his way onto the field if he can, despite the team being, what is it now, 5-10? And, you know, I don't know.
Look. If I have to shoot Matthew Stafford with a tranquilizer dart to keep him from playing next Sunday, I'll do it. I've got some at home. I could try to figure it out. Seriously, don't play Matthew. Just let it go, man.
Yeah.
Just embarrassing stuff.
Yeah, and I just like they're really, I mean, Jamal Agnew is maybe the only positive thing you can even say about this game. He had a nice little punt return there for a touchdown. The only score of the game for the Lions. They put up how much yards of offense in this game? Is it over 100? If so, it can't be by much. Actually, they ran the ball pretty well today too. I guess we could talk about that if we really wanted to. 186 total yards of offense.
Right. DeAndre Swift had some good looking moments. He had that really good highlight play earlier on in the game where he juked a couple guys out of their shoes. Can't forget that. I mean, David Blau, for what it's worth, he wasn't horrible. He was okay. I mean, he was okay for a third string quarterback, Jeremy.
I think he threw 3 interceptable passes out of his 10.
Yes,
and one was
did
intercepted.
have that one. He had a great scramble. Hell of a scramble.
You go. I will give you that. He did have a scramble that was good. 18-yard run, longest run of the game. Lions averaged 4.9 yards per carry against the best run defense in the league. Didn't give up I'll just go through all my tweets in the fourth quarter because I was just looking through.
Yes.
I was just trying to tweet out positive things at the end of the game just for fun and see if I could do it for an entire quarter. All right, here we go. Starting with DeAndre Swift averaged 4.7 yards per carry at some point. He finished with 4.5. Good. Blaine Gabbert's passer rating isn't even within 10 points of being a perfect passer rating. Okay, that one's a little jokey. That one's maybe not a true accomplishment. The Lions' defense has already forced more punts today, 2 than they did last week. Okay, that one also is a little backhanded. Lions' defense has stopped 1 consecutive fourth down attempt. One for 2 today. David Blau was in. He's thrown 0 interceptions this year. That one didn't last the entire game, so I think we have to scratch that one off. Despite dealing with a back injury, Matt Prater was perfect today. That one stands. 1 for 1 on kicks. Perfect today.
Nailed it. Speaking of that, I've got one to add. I've got a positive thing to add here. The Lions forced the Tampa Bay's kicker to miss 2 extra points, and they forced him to miss a field goal as well. I'm counting it.
They used mind telepathy to make it happen. I like it. The Lions haven't given up any points in the last 10 minutes of the game. In fact, they didn't allow any points in the fourth quarter, which is the first time they've done that since week 4 against the Saints. Look at that. Boom. That's a true accomplishment right there. And then finally, I said
All positive things.
The Lions are currently averaging 4.9 yards per carry, which is what they finished with. If that holds, that's the most the Bucs have given up all season, 4.9 yards per carry. Lions established the run. That's a winning team right there, establishing the run in 2020.
Going up.
Let's go, baby.
Super Bowl 2021.
At least the Lions did not give up 6 touchdowns to Alvin Kamara. That is true, John. Very true. Facts. Only facts today.
Very true.
On what, 8
Very
carries?
true.
No, it was more than that. They had 15 carries today. DeAndre Swift, 10 rushes, 45 yards. Adrian Peterson, 4 for 10. David Blau, 1 for 18. I don't know. We are going to come back later tonight, guys, and do a full POD cast. We will also be running the Save the Stash campaign, which I should put up here right now because we'll start taking them now if you want them. We're going to have to hit 40 or I'm shaving it tonight. And I guess it has to be Saturday.
Come on.
But
40 minutes.
we won't be talking much about the game. I'll admit tonight. We'll be more talking about the week in general since it was just a crazy week. We haven't on our general podcast. We haven't talked much about Braden Coombs. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about whether this game should have even been played, given all the COVID stuff, and maybe get into some GM stuff. Because if you might remember, the Lions threw all the shit that happened this week also interviewed 3 general managers, and I don't know what they're thinking about the franchise right now. We'll get into that, all that sort of stuff tonight at 7 p.m. So please make sure you join us for then. We're not going to go quite yet. Conan Hayes, thank you for the sub. Stash looking legendary. Appreciate it. I'm trying to live up to you. I got to get to a point where it curls, but first we got to get some gifted subs to get there. Otherwise, I'm shaving it. So it'll be up to you guys. We also got a sub from Turn Down for WAP. Thank you for the sub. And Honolulu Blue Herb. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Let's see. Is there anything else that you want to talk about with this game? Anything else from chat? Do you guys have anything about this game that you want to talk about? Or maybe do you guys have positives that you can take from the game? Jay Markle asked, why did the narrative around Stenberg flip? It seemed like through 1 week, don't worry, he was never meant to play this year. But then when he didn't play the last few weeks, a lot of not great Bob commentary. Not accusing you of hypocrisy, just seemed like a sudden tide change from smart. I mean, I haven't said anything about Logan Stenberg. Doesn't surprise me that he's not out there. It was a little surprising today when the Lions were on their 3rd string center and it was a guy that I've never heard of. They brought in a guy from the practice squad who was added to the practice squad in December over Stenberg. That's a little surprising. I think that's fair to be at least a little surprised that the Lions are in such a desperate spot at center that they didn't. And given what I saw from Stenberg at training camp, probably don't want him at center. They probably view him more as a backup guard, and I guess the Lions didn't necessarily need a backup guard. But considering all the injuries, I think maybe it'd be okay to expect him to be active in this game. Still probably not playing. But yeah, I'm not that surprised. I'm not that upset. I'm not throwing Stenberg under the bus saying he's a bust, anything like that. But it is surprising to see them play a guy they picked up off the practice squad 3 weeks ago over him a little bit. Do you guys want to go 3-4 or 4-3 next year? I don't care. I don't care. Just get a pass rush.
I never cared about that either.
Yeah.
I guess I would prefer 4-3 personally.
Yeah. I
don't know.
Part of me is I'm trying to think like, well, what does their current personnel line up with more? And then I'm thinking to myself, wait, I don't care about any of our current personnel. They're not good. So don't mold the system to whatever the Lions have right now. Get new people, build whatever the system the hell you want, and yeah, go for it. I truly don't care. 3-4 or 4-3. We're currently sitting at number 8 in draft order. There you go. There's a positive. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Jelani Tavai. The dude is taking a beating on Twitter. We don't need, like, we all saw what happened. You don't need me to say it. I don't want to be a dick to the guy. He's playing poorly. Let's just leave it at that, not bury the guy completely. It's what are you accomplishing by me for, the 10th straight week saying something mean about him? It's unfortunate it didn't work.
Can we try this, Jeremy? Can we at least say maybe under a different coaching staff, he might have a better chance of succeeding.
Maybe.
Is it possible he's just being used wrong? I would not have him cover anyone, but they continuously seem to think he can do that. I don't know. That's just my thought. He can hit. The guy can hit. I mean, he got a couple of good shots in.
They blitzed him a lot in this game, and I think Lions fans kind of got what they wanted finally. The Lions were aggressive on defense. Problem is you have Tom Brady against you, and that's probably not the quarterback to do it against because he knows how to beat that, and he did not miss a single pass today. And once he saw that blitz coming, he got the ball out pretty darn quick and usually to a guy wide open. So, Tay White, thank you for subscribe tier 1 for 6 months in it. Oh wow, subscribe tier 1 for 6 months in advance. He just paid for 6 months of sub. Tay White, appreciate you, dude. That's amazing. Thank you for doing that. That roughing the passer call on Harmon, I think, was absolute crap. It was absolute crap. It was a horrible, horrible call. Wouldn't have made a difference in this game, but it's always kind of funny to see the Lions get screwed by a penalty on a third down in a game that was well decided. Because the refs had to get one in, right? As Schler said, I call that a tackle. Yeah, it wasn't late. It wasn't high. He didn't land on top of him. And those are the three things that you have to make sure you don't do, and he didn't do any of those. So I don't know what the call was there, but pretty silly.
Mike Ford thing. Sorry.
What's that?
I thought that Mike Ford flag on the Agnew return was a little ticky tacky.
I didn't see what actually happened there. What happened? What did he do?
He just knocked down his guy and stood over him, what anybody does when that happens. You look cool in that moment. That's all he did.
Fair. Tay White then gifts a sub to Bubba Stroop. And Tay White, if you're in the chat, we can add that to either one of our campaigns. If you want to save the stash, we'll add that to the 1 of 40 gifted subs. If you want me to shave the stash, we'll make it 11 out of 100. Up to you. I see Gabe in the chat. Gabe gifted me an emote in Fortnite. Shout out to Gabe. Appreciate that. Rooting for... Okay, We've got a rooting guide in the chat. We're rooting for Houston over Cincy, Philly over Dallas. Is that today? Are those the two games on today? I don't even know.
Either of those games are on today.
No, those games aren't tonight. Those are Sunday. Got it. Ajarm says, defense looked a step slow today. Guys were standing up right at the snap, not playing as hard, kind of picked up in the second half. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the whole effort thing, I think we tend to draw narratives there like the Lions weren't trying today or they were out of it. I don't know. I mean, those stuff are always hard to judge. And yeah, like I mean I don't know what to say. Like the corners were running with the receivers. They're just a lot like Mike Evans is so much better than anyone in that secondary, and so is Antonio Brown, and so is Chris Godwin. Like that offense is just so stacked with talent. Rob Gronkowski. I mean, Tracy Walker's been awful this year, and seeing him in coverage against Rob Gronkowski, you get what you sow. I mean, you knew that was going to happen. So I don't know about the effort. It's just it seems just bad. Like they could be playing at 120% and they still get smoked by Tom Brady. That's it.
Yeah. When you have no talent, I mean, yeah, it's. I get the whole effort thing. You want to point that's the reason that they're losing and that they've given up. But I don't know, man. I'm with Jeremy. It's the talent issue. But at the same time, how could you not give up at some point, right? Like it's going really badly.
Yeah, it's a disaster. And thankfully, we only got one more of these. We only got 60 more minutes of 2020 Lions football, and then we can all just focus on what I think we all just want to focus on right now, which is the GM and coach search. Draft 2, unfortunately, we'll have to talk about. But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest takeaway from the game is half of the remaining games are now over. And there's only one more left. And we don't have to endure this too much. The Vikings are tire fire as well. They gave up what? They gave up almost 50 points yesterday as well. They gave up 50 points, didn't they?
Give up 6 rushing touchdowns for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just an awful couple games to start the week. So that game is just going to be so stupid. Combined, the Vikings and the Lions gave up 99 points. So that's fun. That'll be a fun game. Before we get into whatever next we're going to talk about, generally Bears just gifted 5 gifted subs towards the Save the Stash campaign, and Tay White said he wanted to save the stash, so we are now 6 out of 40. We need 36 more by the end of the podcast tonight. Again, we're coming back at 7 p.m. Eastern for about an hour and a half. If you want to save your gifted subs until then, you can. If the Vikes fire Zimmer, should we take him? Absolutely, but they won't fire him. Stafford to San Francisco, how likely do you feel that could happen? I would think the 49ers are interested. I don't know. I don't know what the Lions are going to be interested in doing because obviously the Lions don't have a general manager yet. I think they need at least a first and a second in return for them to even think about it. We'll see. How much, if you're a general manager that views your team a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender, how much would you pay for Matthew Stafford? A 32, 33-year-old Matthew Stafford who's dealt with serious injuries in the past 2-3 seasons.
I've always thought that, look, half the teams in the league would give up their left arm to have Matthew Stafford. And honestly, look at what Dallas, look at Dallas. They're throwing around first-round picks for guys like Amari Cooper.
Sure.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that San Francisco would throw a first-round pick at Stafford if they believed that they could win the Super Bowl with him. I don't think it happens ultimately, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that a team would do that.
I think a first rounder is the absolute starting point of conversations, and I think there will be teams that will offer that to the Lions. It's a question of the new GM and how quickly he wants to turn the page. Personally, I think if the Lions are going to go the rookie quarterback route in the draft, I think it makes more sense to sit him behind Stafford because, as you saw today, this team is absolutely not ready to throw a rookie quarterback to the fire.
No, not at all. And on top of that, to point to what Mark Schlereth was saying as the game was ending, this is one of your building posts right here. Matthew Stafford, you come in, you've got a quarterback. Quarterback is the most important part of any team. We all say it all the time. You've got one ready to go. Why don't you rebuild in the areas that truly need the rebuild? You can still get your quarterback in the first round, but keep the guy that you got and build behind that. It just makes too much sense to not trade him.
Yeah. The Lions are obviously at a point where they have to start thinking about the long-term future. I don't think anyone expects this team to be anywhere near close to contention next year either. Just given where the team is at right now, given that they're going to have to install a new system on offense, a new system on defense, new everything next year, it'd be nothing short of taking the general manager of the year and the head coach of the year for this team to turn around and be competitive next year, which is a case for trading Stafford, absolutely, but it's also kind of a case to keep him because, like I said, do you really want to throw a rookie quarterback in there and have him deal with a 2-14 team and deal with, potentially getting beat up, having to deal with trying to keep up with a defense giving 35 points up a game? It's hard to say because it doesn't seem like a great way to build his confidence, but at the same time, maybe that gets you another good draft pick next year, and then you can. But you don't want to start the season off by thinking about tanking. That's just a horrible mindset, and I wouldn't want a general manager that kind of goes into the season with that mindset. So, that's why this whole offseason, it's just it's a mind fuck. What do you do? What do you do with this team right now?
I think it's simpler than it looks, man. Honestly, you got to go in and you got to rebuild this defense. That's where you need to put your entire focus in. You've got guys like T.J. Hawkinson, you've got guys like DeAndre Swift and Matthew Stafford. Maybe you can hold on to Kenny Golladay and you can put some younger receivers who can create separation around him throughout the draft or free agency or something. You should put most of your resources into this defense. And look, I me, man. I'm the optimist. I always am. And it's really easy from our vantage point right now to say that there's absolutely no way that anything could turn around quickly. But we've seen teams do this so many times where they are god awful in one year, and then the next year they're on their way to the playoffs. It happens, man. It happens all the time. Tampa Bay is a perfect example of that. Cleveland, it didn't happen in a year, but look at how they're rebuilding, man.
But that's the thing. It's got to. This team is too far lost right now. The defense is everyone's comparing them to the 2008 Lions, and I think people forget just how bad that defense was. It wasn't quite this. It wasn't. This defense isn't quite this bad, and I think I'm going to write a statistical article breaking it down tonight, just to remind everyone how bad it was. It's close. I'm not going to lie, it's close. But when you consider like scoring inflation and things like that, this isn't quite as bad. But it is the worst in the league. Let's be clear. This is the worst defense in the league right now by DVOA numbers. It is. I got to imagine after today's game, points per game is gonna be pretty close up there. I mean, they've given up what in the past 2 weeks? It almost feels like Matt Patricia maybe was holding this defense up a little bit, given how bad they've been since he's been gone. I mean, they've given up 31, 46, and 47. It's bad. Yeah. It's really bad. But I mean, to be fair to the whole picture here, almost all of the problems that the Lions are having on defense are his fault and Bob Quinn's fault. So I'm not trying to give him a compliment here, to be clear. By the way, right. my good friend Harry with the 5 gifted subs as well. I'm assuming that is also for Team Save the Stash. I haven't seen him say anything in chat yet, but given that I know the guy, I'm pretty sure that's going to be Team Save the Stash. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I was just going to say, if you could get somebody in who can scout well on this defensive side, I still think that there's some guys there, even though I said earlier on when I was upset, who would you keep? There are some guys that you could coach up. I mean, this defense is still relatively young. I'm grasping at straws here. Sure. Man. I have a hard. Tracy Walker can't possibly be this bad, right? He just can't be.
It's there. No single Lions player has lived down, like has played worse than expectations than him this year. There's no question. People are talking about him having I was talking about him. I shouldn't say people. I was talking about having him having a breakout season because you bring in a guy like Duron Harmon, who's like, okay, that's a deep safety. Now you can have Tracy Walker do what he does best. Guard tight ends, get close to the line, tackle a whole bunch, and dude can't cover anybody. Dude looks lost out there. And yeah, it does kind of seem like part of it is mental. And so maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something there. Like you get a coach that can actually get through there. And I mean, here's the thing. Like he didn't look this bad under Patricia in previous years. So what the hell happened this year? Was it something? Did he butt heads with Matt Patricia? He's had a couple weird moments in press conference where it seems like he's going to say something like they ask a leading questions like, what, do you disagree with you getting benched early on, or something like that? And instead of saying no, it's not my decision, I need to play better, or anything like that, he says, I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to answer that question.
Yeah,
he literally pleads the fifth on the fact that it might incriminate him saying something bad about the coaching. At least that's how it reads to me, and maybe that's not being fair to what he actually wants to say. But he's regressed so much this year, and again, I don't know if it's coaching, I don't know if it's butting heads, I don't know if maybe we're just finding out he's not that good when given a little more freedom to roam around back there. But yeah, I would say he's one guy who's obviously I still think got a year on his contract and he's someone to watch under a new coaching staff. Are there any other young guys you're thinking like maybe just a new coaching staff will turn this guy around? I think Tavai's lost cause.
Jeff Okudah.
Okay, sure.
Jeff Okudah.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think Jeff Okudah. I think that there's guys like Romeo Okwara, guys like Hunter Bryant showed some promise here at the end of the season. Or Austin Bryant, rather.
Okay, I was going to say Hunter Bryant has one catch. I know it was for 44 yards last time.
And it was a really good catch.
It was.
I'm just talking about defensively. I think that there's some guys. I still think Trey Flowers is a fine defensive end, and he's still relatively on the younger side, and there's still some tricks that he could probably learn. I mean, there's a lot of people that you're going to have to replace. A lot. I still think there's some. Yeah, their entire linebacking core, the entire thing has to go. But I think that secondary with guys like Tracy Walker, Jeff Okuda, and gosh damn it, Will Harris too, maybe. I'm telling you, you get a coaching staff means everything, man. It means not everything, but it means a lot. Talent, you got to have it too. And Will might not have that. I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of guys being put in the wrong positions and being asked to do things that they're not good at.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. The chat's mentioning Deshaun Hand, another guy who I think a lot of people thought might have a breakout season if he could stay healthy this year. Even when he was healthy, basically did nothing this entire year. Huge regression there. But personally, I think Will Harris and Jelani Tavai are lost causes. They're not athletic enough to hang in this league. No amount of coaching is going to fix that. I think there needs to be a huge philosophical change on defense. To me, that's the biggest issue. This team was all about getting bigger and stronger instead of leaner and faster. And it shows. Like, the teams are just running all over them. They're passing all over them. No one can keep up with any of these guys. And Will Harris and Jelani Tavai are two stark examples of where this team went wrong. And yeah, I hate to have bag on these guys that we seem to bag on every week, but those guys just can't be a part of the next organization. They can't.
I don't want to get too into the weeds here, Jeremy, but let me ask you a question that might piss off chat. Do you even want Kenny Golladay back?
At the right price, I do. He's a talented dude. I don't want him back at $20 million a year.
No, me neither.
Here's the place I don't want to get into. I don't want to get into this. He's dogging it. He's sitting because he doesn't want to play for the Lions. He's faking his injury.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely.
That whole narrative is absolutely garbage and unfounded. And at least to me, that, like, I'm almost insulted by someone suggesting that, because I don't think anyone has any idea how tough football players are in general. And I don't think people understand how bad of a look that would be for a guy on a contract year to sit out the final 9 games of the season. That's bad. Who wants to sign that guy? A hip injury that makes him miss three months of the season? It's not a good look. And so I don't think he's helping himself, doing himself any sort of favors by doing that. So as long as we can push that narrative out and then have a conversation about whether Golladay should stay, I'm happy having this conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Not to mention that, come on, critical thinking will tell you that the guy's got a trainer with him at practice every day. You think the trainer's going to allow him to fake an injury or not realize that he's faking an injury? No, it's impossible. You can't just – and anybody who actually has faked an injury, like Peyton Hillis, it ruined his entire career. Nobody's going to do anything like that. And Hillis was never really that good. But it ruined his entire career. What I'm talking about with Golladay is – there's clearly an issue. He can make contested catches like it's going out of style. Mm-hmm. Can't get separation. He cannot get separation. Yeah. No receivers on this team can get separation, and that's one of their biggest issues. So why not let Golladay go? It's gonna hurt. It'll suck. You got Jalen Waddle sitting right there, man. That kid's gonna be a star.
So you're saying go wide receiver with a top 10 pick?
I am saying right here and today, you go wide receiver, you go Jalen Waddle with your top 10 pick. I told you I was going to piss Chad off.
I don't absolutely hate the pick. I do think I think wide receiver is high up on this team's needs list. But to me, I don't know. It depends. It depends who's there, right? Like, ideal world, you get either a top-tier quarterback or a top-tier pass rusher. But those guys have to be on the board. There has to be the talent there. You can't just say, hey, you got to go defense. Well, no, you have to go defense if there's a good defensive player there worth taking. If the best player is a wide receiver on the board, I don't hate it. I really don't. You see, look at, there are a ton of young wide receivers that are taking over this league right now. I know the Vikings are garbage this year, but Justin Jefferson is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's absolutely amazing, and it's not his fault that the Vikings, had a defensive, I can't think of the word, but everyone on that defensive side of the ball left, and they spent a ton of
Right,
draft picks on that side of the ball too as well. So it's just, I don't know. The Lions should devote at least 2 of their 3 day 1 and day 2 picks to the defense, but I don't care. I mean, they have to find the guys, right? It's not just blindly picking a position because it's defense.
If you got somebody who can scout well and you have a great GM who has experience with such a thing, it doesn't matter where you pick somebody, because you look at teams like Seattle and teams like Kansas City. I mean, they keep getting better because they know how to draft. And it doesn't matter to them where they're drafting. They're still picking up studs no matter what.
Yeah.
That's what the Lions need. Can they ever get that? I don't know. But I'm telling you, Waddle, you'll be upset if you're a Lions fan and you see that guy go somewhere else. I'm telling you. That dude is a stud.
Fair. If I gift you 90 subs, will you shave this stream? If you gift me 90 subs, I will shave tonight on stream. I won't do it right now because I don't plan on being on that much longer since I got to do some writing. But I will shave during the 7 p.m. stream if someone were to give me 90 subs and want me to do so. Yes.
Please don't do it.
Is Dahl's a good player, right? It's only when he's at center he isn't so great. Maybe. I don't know. He's
still
probably a
out
good
on that
backup.
one.
I don't know if you really want Joe Dahl as a starter, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't see it. I mean, it's nice that he's flexible and he can play. He's not horrible at center. He's not the worst thing I've ever seen at center, but he can shift over if you need him to be. He's a good utility guy. I wouldn't start him either, though.
Yeah. He's probably a guy you still want to keep around, and the Lions did just extend him, right? They gave him like a 2 or 3 year extension at the beginning of the year. So he'll stick around, and he's got versatility now, which is nice. I don't think he's played particularly well at center. You know, he duffed that 1 snap last week, and I think today was it where he snapped the ball when no one was ready? I think that happened once. So I mean,
yes, he did that to Chase.
Yeah, he donged him. And that you have to imagine that's just, you know, a guy in his second career start at center, overthinking things, not paying attention, and maybe that gets better with experience at center. Maybe not, but not going to dog on the guy too much for it.
It's not exactly easy to play center. I know people think you just snap the ball and that's it, but there's a lot that goes into it.
There is someone named Antonio Brown in our YouTube chat saying, "Call God."
Oh crap! He found us.
I hope it's the real Antonio Brown. It does have a picture of him as his avatar. But if so, I mean, kudos to you for finding our YouTube page, you know, less than an hour after the game finished. You got your
probably
you got your
on the
priorities
bus right now. The airport.
Maybe
To the airport.
Probably. Vitae looks so lost. Might be the Lions' worst signing we did this year. Yeah, he did not look good today.
Mm-hmm.
Gave up at least 1 sack.
He's never looked good.
It was a questionable signing from the get-go. It was part of this team's push to establish the run. He's never been a great pass protector. Always been kind of more of a run blocker, and so this team really wanted to, like, they had a hard-on for running the ball this year. And again, something that never made sense under Matt Patricia. You got a gunslinger at quarterback. You've got decent wide receivers who can catch contested catches, and you decided, let's get 4 yards at a time. That's how we want to run this offense. No, that's
damn it. That's how you play football.
Yeah, that's you know, when it's cold outside and
Old school.
December when we're playing in January football, it's all about physically dominating a team. And it's like, no,
That's right.
No, that was 90s football at best. I won't ever forget the play earlier this year when he turned around and asked Stafford what he was supposed to do. Who, Vitae? Did that happen? I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
Brady could have easily put up 700 and 800 yards today. Too bad they took him out. Oh, yeah. That was a real bummer.
Oh, I was really happy because I'm playing against him in fantasy right now in the Super Bowl. So I was really happy he went out.
There you go. Still put a hurting on you, I think, but
34 points, yeah.
All right, I think we're probably gonna start closing this out, guys. We've been live for about 40 minutes. Like I said, I got to get back to writing. We will be back in 2 hours to do a full podcast. We'll talk about the full week, including some GM talk, some Braden Coombs talk. since we didn't get to that on the podcast. And obviously, I want to talk a little bit about the decision to play this game when they did. Get Mike's opinion. He'll be joining us again. Ryan will be joining us as well. Sadly, Chris is just absolutely swamped with work. He's filling in for all the holiday stuff over at Fox Sports there in LA. So tip of our hat to him for stepping up. I've had to work holidays pretty much my entire life. It's miserable. It sucks. I feel bad for him. I've had to work overnight on New Year's Eve before. It's not fun. You hate the world in times like those. So if you're dealing with that at home while you're watching, I'm sorry. It does get better. But I feel for you. I empathize with you. Keep doing the hard work you're doing now, and you'll surpass that. You'll find a better place. It's better on the other side, I promise. Not here though. Not with the Detroit Lions. It's who knows if it's actually better on the other side of this. Like we've been here before, and it may have gotten temporarily better at times, but it feels like we just kind of always are here by week 16, where we're just talking about, well, how is this going to change next year? How in the world can we pull ourselves out of this tailspin? And this is a pretty bad tailspin. This is a 2008-ish tailspin, and I know 5-11, which is what the Lions are staring down, seems much better than 0-16. In a lot of ways, it is. But we're reaching towards the end of Matthew Stafford's career, which means we have to start thinking. We have to start thinking, Mike. I know you hate it. We have to start thinking about finding another quarterback. And if you guys have any sort of memory beyond 2009, it's not easy. It's not fun trying to find quarterbacks. It's not fun drafting a quarterback in the first round, having to deal with him for 4 years only to realize he's never going to play in the NFL again, except for on a Thanksgiving game against you where he lights you up. Joey Harrington.
Imagine when Stafford plays for some other team and lights us up on Thanksgiving. God. Oh, God. I can't do it. And, yeah, of course, like Jeremy said, we've been here before. We're here every year in Week 16. We've got coaches that test positive for a deadly virus and have to miss the game, and Matthew Stafford gets hurt on the second play. This happens every year, Week 16. No, Jeremy, this is the worst it's ever been. Ever.
Yeah. Quick shout out to Tampa Supreme, who just became the first person ever blocked on our YouTube page. What a horrible comment from a horrible person. I'll let you guys, just imagine what he said there. Anyways, stop with the quarterback talk, Jeremy. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to depress you here, but it's something that you have to think about. I'm sorry. It is. Lions have solid offensive pieces, which are workable. Defense needs serious help. Yeah, I mean, the best thing I think you can say about the offense for the future is that they have a bunch of young pieces on that offensive line that could be big. Frank Ragnow is a stud. I think Taylor Decker's still a stud. I think Jonah Jackson, people are a little bit too high on too early, but I think in general, you have to be mostly optimistic about what you saw in his rookie season. Outside of that, though, I mean, there's still some work to do. 3/5 of an offensive line is not an offensive line. It isn't. You're only defined by your weakest link there on the offensive line, and the Lions got a couple, I think. So we'll see. And then, yeah, I mean, Hawkinson, Swift. They need some wide receivers, though. I don't know.
2 under contract once the season ends, too.
Yeah. And who are they? They're Quintez
Cephas. Geronimo Allison. Still on this team.
Did he opt out? Is that what happened? I don't remember what his deal
I
was.
think he did. Yeah, I believe he did opt out, yes.
Brady is the GOAT. Give him his props. I mean, what do I need to say about is his career going to be vindicated because some dude on a random Lions podcast said he did good for the half of play he did against the worst defense in the NFL? I mean, sure, he was great. Of course he was great. I said he's perfect on every single pass. There was one touchdown pass that he threw where I thought the Lions had fantastic coverage. It might have been the only play of the entire day in which the Lions had fantastic coverage, and he still fit a ball into, I don't know, Antonio Brown or someone. I don't know. One of the 8 Tampa Bay Bucs that scored a touchdown today.
Props to the 5th greatest quarterback of all time.
Michael. All right, chat. I think it's about time to close this up. Appreciate everyone out there. I'm not going to repeat what the guy on YouTube said. You're just going to have to use your imagination. Let's just say it had to do with some current events in this country that don't have any reason to be made fun of or joked about. Am I going to be up on Fortnite? Not tonight. Like I said, we're going to be back here in 2 hours. We're going to talk about the whole week. I promise we won't harp too much on the game because why would anyone want to talk about it? We'll maybe kind of range topics out like we did, talk about the future a little bit. We'll talk about Coombs. We'll talk about COVID, all that sort of stuff. We'll talk GM talk, all that sort of stuff. And we'll be continuing our Save the Stash campaign. We need 24 left during that time rate, or I'm going to shave this bad guy, and I kind of want to a little bit, so I'm kind of rooting against you guys. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. Should we raid somebody? Let me see if there's anybody worth raiding. I got my fancy little stream deck that helps me raid people. A lot of people are live. Oh, there's people watching the other games on Twitch right now, which is fun. We're not going to raid anybody, I don't think. We don't need to raid anybody. None of my good friends are live at this point. Unless you want, should we raid Ninja, guys? Does he need our help? Raid the game? I could raid the game. Hold on, let me follow them really quick. You guys just want to go over to Twitch Sports and watch whatever game's playing right now? Hold on. 1 second. 1 second.
Out of fear.
Sports? Wait. This is awkward. Prime Video. That's what I have to follow. Let's follow them.
You find out.
All right. Rate a smaller. I don't have a smaller streamer in mind right now. I have a bunch of smaller streamer friends, but they're not live currently. Anyways, let's just raid the game. Never mind. You know, just go find it yourself. We're just gonna end this. Screw it. I'm lazy. I'm cranky. I don't feel like putting in the extra work. Thank you for all the subs, though. Thank you for I missed the 100 bits from Big Al. Sorry about that. He said, let's lose one more time. Thank you for all of that. I'm mean. Yeah, I am mean. You know what? You need to be talked down to, chat. Take it down a peg a little bit. Making fun of my mustache for the past month and a half. How dare you?
I love it, man. I really don't want it to go away.
Jim Bob Cooter for president, y'all. Today's the kind of day that makes you wish. The Lions offense got shut out today. Did we talk about that? Second time they've been shut out today? This year? Whatever. Who cares? Anyways, bye, guys. We'll see you at 7 p.m. Hope you had a fun game. That was really fun for us. I love being a Lions beat writer at times like this. It's super fun. We'll talk to you.